this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
I always stress the fact of knowing who you are, and the reason being is that people are not going to move the way you need them to move. People are not going to say the right things at the right time when you need them to say it. People are not going to react in a way that is beneficial for you all the time. And that's not to say that everybody is trying to do you wrong. Some people are so damaged, they can't even see that somebody is not trying to hurt them. They can't even see that somebody is not trying to do them wrong. They can't see a different type of love that somebody has given them in the right way. Because you're so inclined to see the downside, it's hard for you to see the good. But you have to realize that certain people just do things differently than how you do it. Who's really against you, who's really trying to hurt you, and who is packaged in a different way, but still got the same intentions inside. That intention is to build you up. That intention is to love you. Love.
Grand rising, kings, queens, and the entire spectrum in between. It is your boy Kwame, and I'm not joined by any host today. I have a special guest that will be on in about 10-15 minutes. He is running a little late. We apologize for the delay on him, but I wanted to start you guys off so we can go ahead and start the show. We didn't want to delay any longer. Okay? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm blessed. I'm feeling good. Worked out this morning. Feeling a little strong. You know what I'm saying? Feeling a little inclined. You know? Feeling good. Beard is bearding. Shirt is yellowing. Skincare is skincaring. I hope you guys are doing the same. I hope you guys are blessed and highly favored. Who's in the building? Cupcakes is in the building, as always, rocking it out as the best mod up in these YouTube streets. In my personal opinion, yes. We love you, Queen. Thank you for all that you do. And Sister Michelle is in the building, too. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. Just Dominic is in the house as well. Hello, sir. Y'all, we had a great time on last night. Y'all should have, if you have not watched Pyro Power Hour reality TV edition, make sure that you tune in. It was epic. Good times. Hey, Mommy, how you doing, Queen? Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Michaela, little sister, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Big sis is in the house. What's up, Mona? Thank you for joining, Queen. Appreciate you. Ray Bishop is in the house as well. What's going on? Thank you for coming on in. Make sure y'all are sharing. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so. Good morning, Dr. Holt. How you doing? Thank you for joining. Yes. Who else is in the building? All right. You look so nice in your. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. You look like gold. I try to be. I try to be gold. Platinum or gold, whatever's expensive. Praise God. All right, let's go ahead and get into some things, y'all. If you're feeling so inclined on today, feel free to bless us with some cash apps. Kire is not here because he is in school, but you can still bless him anyway. You can hit me up at Kwame C86 or Kire at Candid Kire, and that's with the K. Yeah. We love you guys. We thank you. Let me lower this down just a smidgen because, the lady, there we go. You were over talking me, girl. But thank you. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and welcome you guys all in the building. Like Dr. Holt has said, if you have not done so already, please like that, hit that like button for me. Share if you haven't done so already, and subscribe. It does help the algorithm. We appreciate you for all that you do. Yes. Cupcake, shout out to one of my nephews and Tiny Cupcakes, Little Cupcake. Shout out to you. Happy birthday to you, to one of the Tiny Cupcakes. We appreciate you and all that you do. We love you. And we hope you have a phenomenal day, young king. We do. And Make sure that you guys are following Pyro Media Network on all social media platforms, and that you can do so by following at Pyro Media Network everywhere. And also, you can follow Kire and myself on all social media platforms. You can follow me everywhere at Kwame Speaks Official, and Kire at Kire Sanaj, except on IG, where you can find him on its_Kire_Sanaj. Shout out to Kire. And you guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you get to the hotspot. Like, y'all, we've been having a grand old time. Last week, we had the incomparable, the amazing cocktails with Catrice on last Friday, and it was a hoot. Good times on Pyro Cocktail Hour, the new exclusive Patreon-only show right here on Pyro Media Network, exclusively on the hotspot. And you can go over and watch this Friday. Make sure you head over there and sign up. We have Michaud Lowry going to kick it with us this Friday on, because you didn't get him today, but you'll get him on Friday. He'll be kicking it with us on this Friday at Pyro Cocktail Hour. So definitely head over to the hotspot when you get a chance for all exclusive content and gifts. All right, y'all. Make sure you guys follow youtube.com/Pyro Media Network, and also follow our YouTube channels as well, Kire Sanaj Candid Conversations, and myself at Kwame Speaks Official. And again, shout out to the best mod up in these YouTube streets. Yes. What did you say, Dr. Holt? Dr. Holt said, Michaud, get about. I know, Michaud's going to have a time. Michaud is going to have a time. We're going to make sure that he has a good time over on Pyro Cocktail this Friday. So make sure you guys tune in for that. It's gonna be good times. Yes, shout out to the best mod in the YouTube streets. And remember, you guys can have some Bentley time. All right, have some Bentley time this morning. Shout out to you, Bentley. All right, you looking cute. All right, all right. Okay, there you go. All right, I need to get some new pictures of him. But all right, okay, girl. Whew. All right, we have some breaking news. Let's go ahead and get into some breaking news, and then we will get started. Let's do that right now. All right, y'all. So as you guys know, there is currently a war that was initiated in Gaza. In Israel, unfortunately, and it has been centralized in Gaza, and so it is just a mess over there. The terrorist group Hamas, or what has been identified as a terrorist group Hamas, has attacked Israel and initiated a war on Saturday. So take a look at what's been going on so far.
Israel is bombing the Gaza Strip relentlessly, targeting Hamas leaders, a university, and the port. Hitting the border crossing with Egypt, where Palestinians are trying desperately to get out. Power and water supplies have been cut. The people of Gaza have no choice who rules them and are already suffering. This man doing all he can to comfort his daughters. Don't be scared, he tells them. Don't be scared. Around 1,000 Palestinians have been killed so far, and this is just the opening phase. Israel is now preparing to send in tanks and troops. Israel's defense minister promising a war that will change Gaza forever. We started the offensive from the air. Later on, we will also come from the ground, he said, adding, it will only intensify. The United States, Israel's closest ally, is fully behind it on this one. The Pentagon has deployed warships to the eastern Mediterranean. U.S. officials tell NBC News they are actively trying to prevent this war from spreading across the Middle East by signaling to Hamas's allies, Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon, not to get involved and to sit this one out. Israel remains in a state of shock as the scale and brutality of Hamas's massacres last weekend are still being uncovered.
There's just, I don't even have the words. I don't want to get into the foreign politics of it all, but I just think that this is just a terrible situation all around. And you know, people joke around and say, you know, we need peace in the Middle East, but in reality, we do. There's just a lot going on. But there is some breaking news regarding or in conjunction with this that happened this morning. Take a look.
Breaking news right now in the middle of a war. We just learned that Israel has formed what they're calling an emergency government in a war cabinet. This is significant. It is according to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who made the announcement just moments ago. All of this as hundreds of thousands of Israeli reservists are staged outside Gaza. Let's get right to CNN's Becky Anderson, who is in Tel Aviv, who can explain this shift with inside the government, Becky, and what it means. Becky.
Well, this is really important. What we understand is that these discussions have now been going on for some days. And I have to say, there was some speculation we might actually get this news yesterday, but clearly these negotiations on who is in this, unity government, and particularly in what will be this war cabinet, have been very, very difficult. But as we understand it now, this is Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, in unity now in a coalition government, in a war cabinet with Benny Gantz, who is the leader of the National Unity Party, an opposition leader, former defense minister, of course, and the defense minister Gallant. They will sit in this war cabinet. This is an emergency situation which is being addressed now by those who have experience of war in government here. What isn't clear is what the makeup of this kind of wider group will be. And sources have been telling me that there has been much discussion and demands made by those in opposition that the right-wing ministers, the finance and national security ministers, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, would not be part of this. I can't stand that up at present. All we know and we can report at this time is that Benjamin Netanyahu now in unity with
this is a mess. This is a mess, you guys. I just want everybody to really, really, truly understand, like, we are in a very blessed situation, and we should be very grateful that we are not in a war-ridden zone, because it is not. This is the type of war that is seen, and feared for in many different countries, and especially in the Middle East. Unfortunately, they live in fear every single day that a bomb is going to come through, or some type of weapon is going to hit them in their backyard. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to just make sure that you are thankful that we don't live in that type of environment. Hey CBBJ, thank you for joining. So Michelle, I'm glad I live in the US. Yeah, and as much as people. And even I'm very critical of our government, but we're able to be critical. You know what I'm saying? We're able to say certain things about our government. We're able to navigate protests in ways that other countries and other places can't. So there's freedoms that we have that other people don't. There's rights that we have that a lot of countries do not get to experience. So yeah. Definitely counting our blessings. Definitely want to send our prayers to the entire region and just hope that things resolve quickly. So, that was heavy, y'all. We're gonna keep it moving. I have some Black excellence for y'all. Let's go ahead and shift the vibe a little bit. Black excellence on today goes to none other than the queen herself, the gymnast, Simone Biles. Simone Biles won her 4th gold medal of the Artistic Gymnastics World Championships on Sunday, finishing her first in the floor exercise as she completes her first international competition since her 2-year break from gymnastics. Despite being penalized for stepping out of the floor area in her routine, the high difficulty of her performance meant she finished well clear of second place Rebecca Andrade. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing her name. The gold in floor is Biles' 23rd World Championship gold medal and was her second of the day, having won the beam competition in Antwerp, Belgium. Take a look.
Here is some news to make you smile. Gymnast Simone Biles has been staging a comeback after a 2-year break, and she is not messing around. Look at this.
No one wins the battle against physics and gravity quite like Simone Biles.
Around at the World Championships in Belgium Friday. This is her 6th title, making her the most decorated gymnast in history, male or female. 34 medals, and all what she's able to do with her body is mind-blowing.
She's married now.
Yes.
Olympics just around the corner.
That's what marriage will do to you.
Right?
They
There you
throw
go.
around the phrase GOAT a lot. She's actually the GOAT.
The GOAT.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin.
She is the GOAT, and we are very proud of her, of little sis, I guess, for me. So Black excellence goes to this queen. Black excellence goes to all of the work that she's accomplished and the path that she's made for other Black gymnasts and people, and just holding representation for her. So just super proud of her, and wanted to, just shout her out a little bit. She deserves it. She took a 2-year break. So, for her to come back and come back in the way that she is just, makes me proud. So shout out to you, queen. We love you, girl. Yes, that was Black excellence, y'all. All right, y'all. We have, I see in the green room, we have a very special guest. I have to go ahead and announce him. Let's go ahead and welcome the king himself, the man with the plan, the melanated one, Craig, the writer Stewart, y'all. What is going on, sir?
What's going on? How you been?
I'm good. I haven't seen you. Well, I've seen you obviously on So Much to Say podcast, and also on your YouTube channel, and even on Maddie's channel. But I haven't physically seen you since you were over in LA with Dante.
Yeah. That's been several years because I haven't been in LA, and it's been quite a minute. Probably about 2 years maybe since I've been in LA. I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I said I need to come to LA. But I am so sorry that I'm a little late.
Oh, you did?
I had another interview just before this one, and it kind of rolled over. I was on with Lonnie B.
Oh, shout out to Lonnie B. We love him.
Yeah, my DMV brother.
Good morning.
Good morning, bitch.
Yeah, I am good. I am blessed, man. I'm blessed. Thank you for taking the time out to come on here.
Of course.
Basically, I don't know if Samuel kind of informed you about the show, but we talk about pop culture stuff. We want to get your, I know you talk about pop culture stuff in your show, so you're very well informed. So I want to, get your opinion on certain things. We just talked about what was going on in Israel. We haven't gone into much detail on it because I don't really want to get into the foreign politics of it all. But I we did talk about a little bit about how horrible it is, and just kind of being blessed to be in a space. As much as we are critical of the United States, we are in a space that we don't have to live in a war-ridden, kind of space.
And that's part of the reason why so many people are trying to come into this country. And so whatever the case is, whether you're talking about brown people coming in from Latin American countries, so it's really disheartening when you see this country putting up so many barriers and preventing people from coming in into this country, and then putting those children in cages and deporting people and breaking up families. Like that shit would never happen with white folks, with white immigrants
at all.
You know what I mean? and what's so disheartening to me is how some, not all, some white folks can look at the news and see that happening, and those children in those cages along the border when it's happening, and nobody's saying anything. Some of you are better to animals than you are to people. And so to think that you watched that, you stood by and said nothing or did nothing or made the excuse, well, they were illegal, they shouldn't have come here. Right. But there should have been a better protocol in place. There's another way that could have been handled. But to put those children, think about the trauma that those children experienced.
Yes.
Not just then, but the PTSD that's come as a result. Not just the children, but the family, the parents, and then just the long-term effect of all of that. Like it's deplorable. It really is deplorable.
It really is. And Craig, you bring up a good point, because it's not just about the PTSD of the actual, or the trauma rather, of the actual incident, but the process too.
Exactly.
How would you like to be taken away from your parents, for however long period of time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like modern day slavery. They just weren't enslaved.
Yeah, and then you brought up a good point. You don't necessarily. We're not saying all white people,
right?
whatever.
Because there's always somebody that says, well, all white people are like, I didn't say all.
I'm an ally. You know, I was like, okay, girl, we get it.
Right.
You know,
because the energy that you use to say that is
right.
the same energy that you could have used to go out into the world and make it.
That part, the energy that you use to say that Black all lives matter is the energy that you could have used to deal with the burning house that we're actually talking about.
Exactly.
We understand that all the houses in the neighborhood matter, but we're talking about this particular house, girl.
But critical thinkers know that. I shouldn't have to underscore and say some, and come on now. A critical thinker knows that.
But that's something that I was listening to a few weeks ago. King Jives had a show. He did a live, and they were talking about just kind of like the education. With children, and because of the pandemic and how the pandemic has like really affected education and really set back, but they were already set back prior to the pandemic. And that's one of the things that I remember taking critical thinking classes when I was in elementary school. They don't do that anymore. They don't do phonics. They don't do any of those things. They
don't even write in cursive.
No.
So these kids don't even know how to sign their signature.
No. That's strange. But anyway.
And here's the thing. Let me just say this. Yeah. So I've always studied French. Mm-hmm. So like elementary school, middle school, high school, and then in college, but I'm not fluent. Mm-hmm. And I've always had like this burning desire to be fluent. And I've only thought about French because that's the only language that I've ever studied, right? Mm-hmm. But if I knew then what I know now, I really wish I had started with Spanish, obviously, because it would benefit me a lot more. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing that I realized, because I'm actually about to I'm going to live in Paris for a couple of months. I'm going to leave in about 2 weeks. Okay. And what I know to be true is most of them speak English. Mm-hmm. Because English around the world is regarded as this universal language.
Absolutely.
But when you think about other countries, and I had this conversation with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, when you think about other countries around the world, most other countries speak their language and English.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're the only country that only knows English. And you know why? Because white people are in control of this country. And it's their entitlement that has said to them, well, we don't need to learn those other languages. Let them learn what we learn.
Yep.
But if they were interested in really being, one nation or one world, if you will, mm-hmm. we would have been required to learn another language growing up. But their entitlement is just like, oh no, we don't need to know that. All we need is English. That's just so unfortunate to me. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah. Like, how do you really become a world citizen only knowing English? So yeah.
And then it's, Craig, we're gonna get in trouble. Let me be quiet because we could go on about that because that doesn't make it. It's the hypocrisy. Okay, let me be quiet.
It is.
It is. It's ridiculous.
I'm gonna say, speaking of hypocrisy, mm-hmm. I remember the last time I went to Mexico, and it's been probably about a year or two, maybe a year and a half or so. And I remember looking at all of the white people that were vacationing there. Mm-hmm. And just by looking at them, I'm like, I know these people were Trump supporters. I could tell. These are some of the same people that didn't want Mexican people or Hispanic people to come into our country. But every time you get a break or vacation, you running your ass over here in Mexico.
Or Puerto Vallarta.
Cabo.
And then wondering why you're getting snatched up over there. I wonder why the cartel is increasing, their cartel activity is increasing over there. Yeah,
they can't wait for Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, they can't.
So
even though that's not even a big deal for them. It's not even a holiday for them.
It's not. So you love the culture, but you don't like the people.
We love the culture. We love to learn about the culture, Craig. It's all about the culture.
But it's the same thing with black folks. They do the same thing with black culture.
Right.
They love our culture.
Yeah. They don't like us.
They just don't like the people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The irony of it.
It's a mess. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into what's happening today, y'all. As you guys know, every day is something on these social media streets. So today is... Oh, perfect. National Coming Out Day. On this, do you know anything about National Coming Out Day, Craig?
Why wouldn't I?
Well, I don't know. How would you know?
National Coming Out Day? What you mean? How would I know? Isn't it like in celebration of people who have come out, or like kind of encouraging?
I'm delivered, girl. I don't know anything about that. I love the women's.
Well, well, hopefully this day encourages people to stand and live in their truth without apology.
Yes, without apology.
Without apology.
In all seriousness, y'all know I'm a whole homosexual. Anyway, let's go. On this October 11th, National Coming Out Day will continue to raise awareness for individuals within the LGBTQ plus community and champion the idea that homophobia thrives in silence. On this day, many people who identify as LGBTQIA plus will, quote, come out, a term stemming from the phrase come out of the closet to friends or family about their sexuality, which is a very big moment. Beyond this, the history of the LGBTQ plus movement is a beacon of light. Its champions are honored, and it underlines the personal being, the personal being politically. It's also a chance to celebrate the liberation spirit. Many do this by waving flags associated with the LGBTQ plus groups or donning pins. Happy National Coming Out Day to all of y'all, whether you're gay, straight, bi, red, green, black, trans, non-binary, kings, queens, and everybody in between. We love you guys. Come out.
It's so interesting to me because when I think about coming out, I think about it from two different perspectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that coming out that you do for yourself
Mm-hmm.
when you start acting on the feelings. Because
Yes.
something else sucking dick and carrying on before you start telling people.
Hello. Because you got to test it out. You got to see if you like it.
So there's that part, that coming out, and then there's the coming out where you actually start to have the conversations with people.
Yeah. I look at the coming out to yourself as kind of like evolution or
like a rebirth.
Yeah, like a rebirth. Or coming out of your or getting out of your chrysalis form, right? And becoming the butterfly that you are. Now you got to tell everybody that you've now identified however you want to identify. But yeah, it is a beautiful thing, and I do think that it should be something that's done. This is one of the things that I get really frustrated out is when people are forced to come out, or they get outed. I don't like that at all. I to this day I don't think that that's something that should be done. But
yeah, because it is a very personal journey.
It is.
And you have to do it in your own time and at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I think about being forced or being outed, I think about it generally. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen like, within families where somebody finds out that you're gay and then they out you. But
Right.
what comes to mind for me is it usually happens from relationships.
Yes.
Like you're dating someone and you may be out and they're not quite out.
Mm-hmm.
And then because you're moving faster than they are on an emotional pace, or you want to be seen and acknowledged for that relationship, and because that person is not moving fast enough for you, then you out them to people because you're upset with them. You out them at their job, or you out them to their family, or something like that.
And that's whack too, because I feel like because you're talking about you're in a relationship with someone that it's supposed to be a safe space, and then you don't. How am I supposed to trust you ever again after that?
Right. And the truth is, because I remember when I was in my 20s, I remember dating a guy and I was out and he wasn't really out.
Mm-hmm.
And he was older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't try to force him, but what I did realize was it's important to be in a relationship. You know how people talk about being equally yoked?
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's important. Like if you're out to your people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm not saying you got to be marching down the street, in parades and things like that.
Right.
But comfortable enough in your skin, comfortable in my skin, that like you got to be comfortable in your skin, right? Because it's going to cause some sort of friction in the relationship.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do your job of trying to pull me back into the closet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be doing my job of trying to pull you out of the closet. So it really is important that you are kind of like matched in that sense.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be too much friction.
And I think people equate coming out, some people equate coming out with, having to be open with your relationship. You don't have to like tell everybody that you're, about your dating life or whatever, what's going on.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to, and also those who have chosen, because I have been with people who have been in the closet. And so when you make that choice, if you choose to do it, you can't complain about it later. But that's what you chose, right? But at the same time, you can't control me and make me feel like I have to hide who I am.
And that's what and that was why I kind of underscored it when I said out doesn't mean that you got to be marching in parades and carrying a rainbow. That's not what I mean. I'm not even saying that you got to be at work with a picture of me on your desk.
Right.
What I mean by it is you're not avoiding the question.
Correct.
If people ask you, you're not telling me, oh, well, let's not go out on Valentine's Day because people will think that we're on the date. Let's go out the day before or the day after.
Or,
you know what I mean?
Or if they say, is Craig your boyfriend? No, that's my friend.
Right. You trying to get me you trying to get me to pass as your homeboy. Like, I'm not doing all of that.
I wasn't your friend last night in the bed. Girl. I wasn't my friend. You wasn't my friend when I was doing gymnastics with you in the bedroom, girl. I was stretching.
You know what?
Yes, sir.
Or better yet, leaving that little gay seat at the movie theaters.
Oh, right.
I'm sitting here, you leave this chair blank, and then you sit in the next one.
No. I refuse. Or you want me to move out of my bedroom because your family's coming over? No, girl. That's not happening. I don't know what to tell you, but you got to go on the couch if you feel that. I'm sleeping in my bed that I bought. What's with you? Anyway, let's get into birthdays of the day, y'all. We are still heavily in Libra season. Shout out to all the Libras out there. We love you guys. Appreciate you. First,
my mom's birthday is next week.
Oh, shout out to Mama Stewart. Yes. Come on, Mama Ryder. We're going to shout her out. Yes. Shout out to MC Lights. She was born October 11th, 1970 in Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to New York. Lana Michelle Mora. Is it Mora? I think it's Mura, aka MC Light, is a Grammy-nominated American rapper, DJ, actress, and entrepreneur. Considered one of the pioneers of female rap, Light first gained fame in the late 1980s, becoming the first solo female rapper, to release a full album with 1988's critically acclaimed Light as a Rock. She released a total of 8 solo studio albums, Legend of 2015, the latest to date, and an EP with Almost September. Shout out to you and happy birthday to you, MC Light. We appreciate all of the work that you have done for Black culture and for paving the way for other Black female artists. Shout out to you, Queen.
All right.
Have you met her?
I have not.
You have not? Okay, I met her once, and it was in passing. And she's a very sweet lady. I had a friend who managed. No, she didn't manage. She was an assistant. And she met her. She said that she's a very sweet lady, like very good-hearted person. You would think that because female rappers have this like
this veneer, this tough veneer.
Yeah, but she is very, very mothering. She said is what she used. All right.
So is she part of the community or what?
You know what? One can speculate, but she allegedly is straight. I think everybody.
Allegedly.
I think everybody's a little gay, but that's just me.
Now, see, I don't believe that, but
I think everybody's in the spectrum. Hey, Nikki, what's up, Queen? Thank you for joining. And shout out to your Libra cupcakes. We appreciate you and little cupcake. Happy birthday to you, sir. All right. We also want to shout out Lenny James, honorable mention. He was born October 11th, 1965 in Nottinghamshire, England. Wow, that's a thing. Lenny James is a British actor, screenwriter, and playwright. He is best known for playing Morgan Jones on The Walking Dead and Fear of the Walking Dead. You may remember him in this capacity on Walking Dead or Fear of the Walking Dead. So shout out to him. I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead, and he is a phenomenal. When he came in, the show shifted. We needed him. But a lot of shows need Black culture. But I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone right there. Happy birthday to Monday Monet Michelle, born October 11th, 1965 in New York, New York. Monet Michelle's work spans TV, film, theater, animation, and commercials. Nominated for an NAACP Theater Award for her role as Tanya in August Wilson's King Hedley III, and considered for an Emmy nomination for her work in Flight 93 as Lisa Jefferson. Some of her favorite roles have been Annie on American Dreams, Judge Bass on The Defenders, Half George in The Road Weeps, The Well Dries, and Citizen 2 in Citizen, an American Lyric. Happy birthday to you, Queen.
I saw King Hedley. That was a great play. And
Oh, was it?
Flight 93.
Okay. Was she in it when you saw it or no?
I don't remember her though. She may have been, but I saw King Hedley here in Atlanta.
Okay. What is it about? I was King Hedley, but you know.
I don't even remember. It was a couple years ago, several years ago.
But you said was it good though?
I do remember enjoying it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to you, Queen. Also, shout out to Mike Connolly Jr., born October 11th, 1987 in Fayetteville, Arizona. He's a little handsome. Michael Alex Connolly Jr. is an American professional basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies of the NBA. He has been a member of the Grizzlies since the team drafted him with the 4th overall pick in the 2007 NBA draft. Connolly is the son of Mike Connolly Sr., an Olympic gold and silver medalist in the triple jump. Happy birthday to you, sir. And finally, happy birthday to Helene Fassart. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing her name, but she was born on October 11th, 1975 in France. Helene Fassart is an independent artist, songwriter, singer, writer, music producer, music label owner, social entrepreneur, curator, mother, activist, and universal worldwide citizen. She does a lot of activism in France for Black culture. So happy birthday to you. And happy birthday to everybody that was born on October 11th. We appreciate you and all that you do. All right. We're going to get into a quick commercial break, and then we're going to go into shout out to Bullet and Flight Radio, the #1 progressive Christian radio station in the world. And we want to shout them out because they are on TuneIn. If you haven't heard, you can use TuneIn. And if you have an Alexa or Google device, you can go ahead and use TuneIn to listen to it. All you have to do is say TuneIn, or excuse me, Alexa or Hey Google, whatever you want to call it. Play Bullet and Flight Radio on TuneIn. And then you will listen to it right on, and you'll hear the live feed from it. They are on this platform with other prestigious organizations and platforms as well, and they have an active listenership of over 75 million active users. And guess what? Pyro Media Network shows are on there, syndicated on Bullet and Flight Radio as well. So shout out to Pyro Media Network's shows. Whew. All right, y'all. Now we gotta go. Let's go ahead and take this quick commercial break, and then we're gonna get into some mess with the Craig, the writer Stewart. We'll be right back.
In a world filled with diversity, where radical faith and progressive believers come together, there's a place that's breaking all boundaries and embracing believers from all walks of life. Bullet and Flight Radio, where believers unite, boundaries break, and love triumphs.
Step away from the chaos and noise of your daily life. Experience moments for yourself that are calm, serene, and full of peace. A necessary respite to foster growth within you, because self-care should be luxurious. Lux and Noir.
And we're Black by popular demand. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you're
I like that.
I love it too. If you're just tuning in, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe right here to Pyro Media Network. We love you guys, and thank you for tuning in. All right, we're here with Craig, the writer Stewart, y'all. The busiest man in these streets, y'all.
God, I can't.
The man is butts.
Oh my God, I can't even begin to tell you. Like, there's so many moving parts over here right now. I'm not complaining.
Listen,
because this is the day I prayed for.
I don't. You know what? You know what?
You got to learn how to let your feet speak for you. And right now, my feet got a testimony. Hey, he has done great things.
Hey. You're right. That's it.
He has done great things, my God.
Yes, he has.
And continues to do so.
Listen, because once upon a time, there was a boy named Craig. And all I can tell you is, like I said earlier, I'm in a couple of weeks, I'm going to live in Paris for a couple months.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. But to be able to have that, the privilege of being able to do that, especially when I can look back just a handful of years.
Yeah.
And my life was the complete antithesis of where I'm sitting now. Like, I literally remember my car was impounded. Because, I've written some books. And so at the time when I first started out, I had a very tough decision to make every single day, to either print books or pay my car insurance or pay the rent or whatever it was. And at that point, at that moment, I made a decision to print some books. And so my car got impounded because I didn't have the money to pay the car insurance. And that was right in the beginning when I first started live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. And when I tell you, I was really just sharing the story because I bring my full self to these live streams and to the podcast, and I was sharing the story. And when I tell you, my supporters, because I don't call them followers and I don't call them fans, my supporters really got together and they helped me get that car out of the impound.
Yeah.
And everything and all of the fees associated with it. And ever since then, I just haven't looked back. And I do things now on my live stream to benefit them, and so yeah, it's
a humbling experience.
It really is.
God is good. God is good, and I pray continued success. And I'm gonna be. You're gonna continue to do, like, obviously your live streams and stuff from?
For sure. My Patreon, and I have a specific Patreon just for my life in Paris. I'll live stream, but I'll just be live streaming from the apartment. But the Patreon, I'm gonna take you through the streets of Paris and just like the different experiences and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. So like I've always thought that moving from state to state is stressful, or like moving period is stressful, but moving internationally, I can't even imagine that.
And my mother's birthday is next week, and so trying to coordinate that before I leave and just all of that. I mean, it's been a lot.
Yeah. All right, well, we're gonna keep you in prayer, Craig, because we don't want you, getting stressed out now.
My God.
This is a beautiful experience for you.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I'm grateful and I'm excited about it.
Absolutely, and we're gonna all the pyromaniacs are gonna make sure that we follow you and keep up with your trips and keep you you in prayer to make sure that you're safe over there as well, because they like us chocolate skins, you know what I'm saying?
And they got them damn bed bugs and shit now. If I tell you one more person send me an article about them bed bugs, listen, my flight is already purchased, the apartment is already secured.
It's like, what are you gonna do?
Ain't nothing I can do. I'm just gonna go in there with a spray bottle of alcohol, 90% proof alcohol. And just spray everything and pray for the best.
And hope for the best. All right, y'all. If you want to keep in contact with us, make sure that you're not getting YouTube notifications. You can text Blaze, BLAZE, to 833-793-2423, and you'll get notifications when we go live or upload. So make sure you go ahead and text Blaze to 833-793-2423. All right, y'all. It's time to get into the rundown, y'all. So this morning, first up, it was just like first up news. Will and Jada Smith. I'm so sick of them.
I'm sick of them already. And you
I'm so sick of them. And I like Will. I do. And I kind of like Jada. But this is just a mess. So
now I
apparently,
kind of like Jada.
I do. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith have been separated allegedly for the. Well, no, she said it actually. Have been separated for the past 7 years. Something the missus is now revealing in a new memoir, which clears up a lot. Jada made the revelation today in a couple different interviews, one with People Magazine and another with Today. In both, she admits that she and Will be leading separate lives, or have been leading separate lives since 2016. Take a look.
We are back 8:14 with Carson and Hoda's exclusive interview with Jada Pinkett Smith, and everyone's going to be talking about this.
Yeah, she is one half of Hollywood's most powerful couple. She's at the center of constant gossip and controversy, including that slap at the Oscars. She was sitting right next to Will Smith. And when we met up with Jada in her hometown of Baltimore to talk about her candid new memoir, Worthy, she opened up about an issue that has been kept secret until now.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
Right.
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
So, girl, what?
First of all, let me just say this. Things understood don't have to be explained. Now, I don't know who didn't know that they were separated already, but I knew. I'm from the mean streets of Baltimore, and one thing about us, you can't just pull no shit over our eyes.
Okay.
First and foremost, let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I knew they were separated when they did the Red Table Talk, and they were sitting on the couch talking because he would pop in there every now and then.
Yes.
They looked like friends.
Yes.
There was no sort of romantic energy between them, and they would just sit and they said, "Ride together, stay together, die together," whatever the fuck they said.
Right.
And then you really wanted us to think that y'all were together when you were fucking around with August Alsina?
Girl!
What did she call it? What did she call it?
Situation.
Entanglement.
Entanglement, yes. It was
when you said somebody entanglement, first of all, you fucking somebody your children's age. You want to get children's friends.
I looked at her like, girl.
You think we didn't know that then?
We knew, girl. And here's the thing. And I think what frustrates
they never kissed. You never see any time.
We never see them kiss. And they may have I saw them peck. But like it was
some
like
of my friends sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it wasn't like I didn't see any type of like
there was not an ounce of romance.
Then do you remember when the whole entanglement thing happened and they did the fist pump at the end? I said
that's what I was. Yeah, it was like ride together, die together, whatever the fuck they said. It was like something the end of a.
I was like, "Whoa, come on!" And listen, it's what bothered me today about it when I heard the situation or heard the article. It wasn't that they were separated. You do what you want. You know, we've all been asking y'all to separate any old damn way. But it's the fact that y'all been playing in our faces for the past 7 damn years, talking about like for example, when they were on when Jada was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy was talking about had asked him or asked her, what's the secret to you and Will's marriage? And she made up this whole like, well, I don't know what the secret is. You don't know what the secret is because you're not together, girl.
But that's just it. You were just lying. You've been
The
lying
entire
about this
time.
for all of this time. So it's just like, girl, just come to the light.
And that's all you had to do.
Like, but that's my point. That's why, like, when people would say relationship goals, I'm like, first of all, them niggas ain't even together. And so I didn't need the whole August Alsina thing to happen because prior to that, the streets had been saying that he and Dwayne Martin, Tisha Campbell Martin's ex-husband, they were saying And you know, the first birthday girl that you showed tonight, Miss MC Light.
You know what?
You know, she stays over at their house sometimes, and so I really believe
does
that.
She? Oh, she does? Oh, wow.
They're really good friends. So I think that she and Jada, you know.
Craig.
You know, but Jada's from Baltimore. Jada's from Baltimore. And, you know, the streets have been talking about her for years, too.
Craig, go to your room.
The
You did
streets
not
been
just
talking
drop that
about her.
tea.
I personally think Jada is fluid. No, I was trying to come around that Brandy.
Sorry.
I mean that not Brandy, Portia. But anyway, but yeah, I knew that they weren't together. I mean, come on now. The thing is, they had already made the decision that they were going to stay together for their children. And even like when they were on Oprah all of those years ago, I do believe they were still together then. But remember, they were on Oprah all those years ago. They said, Jada said, well, if this doesn't work, then I don't know what.
What they said, Craig?
They like years ago, she was on Oprah and she said, if this doesn't work, then I'm not doing nothing else. I'm not trying nothing else. This is it. I think they had made the decision then that no matter what, they were going to do life together, even though they weren't in a relationship. But I just feel like they decided that they were going to do life together, and then they would do their own little things on the side.
But here's the thing. I don't think that was the. I think that honestly that threw me off when she said that, because I don't think that any wealthy. They're wealthy. There's rich and then there's wealthy. Beyonce, wealthy. Rihanna, very wealthy. Oprah, wealthy. Cardi B, rich. You know what I'm saying? Like so you know what I'm saying? So
There's
and
a
I heard
distinction.
and I heard you talk about that a couple of days ago when you were talking about your experience when you went to Beyonce's concert and how shut up, Siri. How you viewed her a little differently, and that you know that you actually prayed for her and stuff like that. So that was a really deep, dope conversation that you had. But my whole thing is like wealthy people have those type of arrangements. You know what I'm saying? They're still together, they still have marriage, they still love each other, but they have those type of open type situations. So that wasn't a surprise to me, and that tea wouldn't have been a surprise to me. This surprised me a little bit because the way like they acted, like it was like. Good acting.
It's like what's disappointing is that they both went out of their way to try to convince us that they were still together.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's
it's like we wouldn't have cared. And I think that sometimes people, when they're high profile couples like that, I think sometimes people live or stay in a relationship because the world is saying, "Oh, you're our relationship goal. You're our last hope of seeing two people together in a long-term relationship." So it's almost like they didn't want to disappoint people.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and then somebody just said in the comment, "Wasn't Will living in Dubai?" Because I know he was swimming down in that, that indoor diving thing he did. Like, yeah.
Okay, girl. We see you. But you know what what got me was when you said that Will was having conversations with certain people. We're gonna call it conversations.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah,
but,
let's talk.
What I will say is MC Light does spend quite a bit of time over there.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Speaking of confusion, let's talk about this fool. Representative George Santos faces 10 new federal charges, including allegations of stealing donors' identities, running up fraudulent credit card charges, and more. Take a look.
At the same time, this morning, Republican Congressman George Santos is now facing 10 new federal charges. Prosecutors charged the New York representative with conspiracy, fraud, making false statements, lying on records, and identity theft. Santos was already facing 13 federal charges. He has pleaded not guilty and dismissed the charges, calling them a, quote, witch hunt.
I'm just going to look at look, you're all acting like I'm not entitled to due process and innocent
Well, that's why
until
I'm
proven
asking you your
guilty.
next step.
I'm nothing. I mean, I'm just going to go defend myself. I have a court date on October 27, and then there's probably going to be something else scheduled for that. I'm entitled to due process. I'm going to go defend myself.
If convicted, Santos could face up to 20 years in prison.
First of all, girl, who you having an attitude with? Who are you talking to? Like, he had a whole. First, I'm gonna go defend myself. First of all, girl, who are you talking to like that? See, you handled that like a white woman, Miss Reporter. We would have handled it. I would have bopped him upside the head. Who are you talking to, girl? Because you created this mess.
Right.
You're the one that lied all the way up, and your party created this mess too because you scammed them and they allowed you to scam them because they're a bunch of scammers them damn self.
Basically.
Right, Cupcakes? You're going to jail. You're going to jail. You a scammer, girl.
Basically. Oh, look at Donnell Holt in here.
Yes, Dr. Holt's one of our mods. Shout out to Dr. Holt.
Yeah, I recognize that name.
Right, Stunt Queen Keats. Stunt Queen. It's gonna make somebody's whole life great as a prison wife.
As a prison wife.
Well, you know, we heard about Georgina doing some. We heard about Georgina doing some things like drag and stuff like that. That's allegedly that's what they said. You know, his friend said, "Girl." Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't like you anyway. So I just wish that you would have not even showed up on the screen. To be quite honest with you. Anywho, we're gonna move on. Any more thoughts on her?
None at all.
Okay, good luck, Chuck. Moving on. The race to the next U.S. House Speaker comes down to two candidates, and this is making my stomach nauseous. We have Representative Scalise and Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan. Take a look.
Well, the conflict along the Israel-Gaza border has created a newfound urgency for Republicans to select a new House Speaker. The lower chamber is essentially at a standstill until then.
It appears to be a two-man race to be the next Speaker of the House after Kevin McCarthy's historic ouster last week. McCarthy is not ruling out returning, but for now it's Trump-endorsed Jim Jordan versus House Majority Leader Steve Scalise.
I'm ready to go with a great team in place to move fast in uniting people from all factions of our conference.
Both of the declared candidates will try and win over colleagues before their caucus holds a secret ballot to see who the favorite is. A full House vote on the floor could come soon after.
Oh, Lord.
Let me just say this, and this is all I have to say about this. I'm so sick of white people.
I'm so tired of them. Like, they have the audacity, Craig.
The unmitigated goal.
Okay.
First of all, I just think that there needs to be an age limit on these political offices, especially when you're talking about Congress and Speaker of the House and all that kind of stuff. Because and I think at some point they need to age out because their ideas, their ideology is outdated. And then, like, when I look at old white men like that, I think about from which they've come.
Yeah.
Their life experiences and how they probably view the world, view people of color.
Yeah.
And everything that they do, a lot of what they do, much of what they do, is very much so from a white perspective.
Yes.
So like, for example, like I have a good friend. He's a mayor here. I do know the mayor of Atlanta, but I have another friend who's the mayor of another city that's outside of Atlanta. It's a guy named Khalid Kamal. And I don't know if it made national news, so some of you may have seen it, but he was arrested a couple months ago. They said he was trying to break into a house trespassing or whatever it was. But from my perspective, what happened in that case, he's young.
Yeah.
He's in his 40s, and he's the mayor. That's young when you think about the political landscape, right? He's like 46. And he's progressive. He's progressive in his ideas and his thoughts and the direction that he wants to take that city. Because it's a new city.
Yeah.
It's called South Fulton. But it used to be, what they did was they took parts of College Park, Georgia. They took parts of East Point, and they made this. That means, you have to take resources from those other cities to make this one city. So he wasn't even really making a decent salary because they basically, you have to put together the police department, the fire department, all of that stuff.
I don't think people really understand what it takes to build an actual city and what that goes into.
Especially when you're pulling from two or three existing cities.
Right.
So he had all these ideas, but there were all these old, not just white people, but old black people that were on the council and all this other stuff. And they weren't really feeling him. And I really think that a lot of this opposition that he's facing, just like when Obama came into office, a lot of the opposition that he's facing is because these are new ideas.
Yeah.
And they're not interested in those new ideas.
Yeah.
They want things to move the way. Just like Gary Chambers is another one. He's a favorite of mine down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yes.
He's young. He's progressive. And them white folks ain't ready for him. Now, I don't
Let
know
me
why.
find out, Craig, you know about these politics streets, Squirrel. Okay.
I pay attention.
All right, let me find out.
And like when I try to weave some of this stuff into my live streams, so when I open my show, I say good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. You know what I mean? Because I do a little bit of silly shit, like we sitting here talking about Jada and Will. But at the end of the day, I don't really give a damn about none of that pop culture stuff. I'm more involved and more concerned with where black and brown people are going to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yes.
That's what concerns me.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean I'm against anybody else.
No.
I'm just for black and brown people.
Right.
But yeah, Gary Chambers is another one that's doing a lot of great and amazing things down in Louisiana, in particular Baton Rouge. Now, he's tried to run for office a couple times and he has not been successful. But I'm hoping that his presence on social media and all of the work that he's doing in between these runs will eventually make his platform a lot larger, and then these black folks down there will get out and vote. Because Louisiana, I don't know the numbers and I don't know the demographics, but it's majority black and brown people.
Yes.
And it's ridiculous that he cannot win a political office, and it's only because the majority of those black and brown people are not registered to vote. They're not voting. Like
That's
one of the things
a whole other conversation.
One of the things he was trying to do was change when he first kind of hit the scene in terms of a national standpoint from in terms of hitting social media and be going viral, was when they were doing that council meeting and that woman Connie was online shopping. He said, well, I came up here and I was going to talk about something completely different, but I want to talk about you, Connie, and while the people in this community are displaying and putting their pain on the front line, you're over there online shopping because you don't give a damn about these people.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? He was trying to change the name of a high school.
Yep.
Because Robert E. Lee, Robert E. Lee is a high school, and he was a slave owner. And he wants to change the name of that school because why should these black kids go to a school, attend a school, graduate from a school named after a former slave owner?
Yeah.
And like he said, there are a lot of honorable black people from that region that they could name that school after, like PBS Pinchback. Who I believe was like the first black person in like Congress or the Senate or something.
I would be okay with you just calling it school. Like, I mean, honestly.
And so, but again, I can't remember, but I'm almost certain that I think the name was changed. I believe it was changed, right? So like he's trying to do things like that, and that kind of shit is important because when you think about your kids going to a school and its namesake is named after somebody who enslaved people who look like you, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I have a friend here that's an educator, and she used to work at a school, and the kids in that neighborhood were low income. And so there was like low income housing, but it was around a prison.
Yeah.
These children had to walk past a prison to get to school.
Yeah.
Think about the psychological effects of that. It may not be a conscious thing, but it's an unconscious thing that you're walking past a prison to get to school and to get back to your house because it's in your neighborhood.
Yes.
That prison, that school to prison pipeline, that shit is real.
Absolutely. And I think it's important that we pay attention to our politics and pay attention to, and not just because I feel like a lot of the Washington politics and a lot of the national politics, that's really honestly like there's really nothing we can truly do about it until we hit things at the local level. We're not paying attention at the local level. We're not paying attention to our supervisors and our local our city boards and our. There's a lot of grants that you can get for your business, but you don't get them because you're not going to the boards. You're not going to those city meetings to get your face. Get your face there. You know what I'm saying? And finding out about that information.
Yeah, it's the superintendents, it's the sheriffs, it's the mayors.
Yeah.
Because like when we talk about all of these unarmed Black and brown people getting killed by the police, the mayor of your city is over the police department. The mayor is the boss. Yeah. And so it's important that you choose a mayor that's going to be vigilant about instances like that. Yeah. Right. And so, for example, Andre Dickens is the current mayor of Atlanta. He's a friend of mine. He podcasted with me many years ago when he was a councilman. So you mentioned about getting money for your business and things like that. It's not just money for your business. It's also money for your house. Like he talked about that on my podcast. Every city has it. They have programs, but a lot of people don't know about it. They have programs for elderly people, like when they can't pay their taxes, their property tax. And we spend a lot of time as Black and brown people talking about gentrification, and that shit is real.
It's very real.
But we also got to think about the shit that we're not doing. Because a lot of times we lose our homes to white folks because we haven't paid our property tax,
or we sell them.
But there are programs that help you pay your property tax.
Yep.
And there are programs that help you beautify your house. Like if you need to get a new walkway or get a new roof or whatever it is, there are programs for that shit. But see, we don't know about those things because we're so busy on the fucking shade room. And that lady who owns the shade room is an African woman. And not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, Black African people look at Black Americans differently. I believe, and this is just my opinion, she's anti-Black. You don't see everything over there is putting Black folks in a horrible light. She could really use that platform for good. The only time you see decent shit over there is because somebody's paying for a story over there. 90% of the revenue over there is because of advertising. So that's the only time you see those feel good stories. Otherwise, she's humiliating Black folks just like you see shit on Fox News and white news channels. But you know, we're watching that stuff, but we don't know what's going on the local level.
Right.
You gotta galvanize.
But some of these, you know, what's funny, you know, they and it really looks. It's indicative of how our children are, right? Our youth are, because they can sit there and have a. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Oh, we have breaking news. I'm sorry. 1 second. So it's being reported that right now, as of according to the State Department, they just released information that at least 22 Americans have passed away and transitioned in Israel. They're continuing to follow updates, and as well as Gaza's only power station has stopped working after the fuel needed for generating electricity ran out. The power plant's shutdown comes days after Israel ordered a complete siege of the Palestinian enclave. So this is just getting worse and worse by the day and by the minute, it looks like. So sorry to interrupt, but I had to throw that out there. But this is getting crazy. But yes, going back to what you were saying, Craig, you know, as far as our
priorities shifting,
yes, our priorities. Going back to what kids, like just looking at our youth, like they can go ahead and quote rehearse or recite rather the latest Drake song in 2.5 minutes. But when we ask them about their multiplication tables, or we ask them about, you know, if they know the different branches of government, if they know who all of our presidents are, if they know about our history, you know, Black history, it's not really talked about. It's not. They're like, huh?
And I'm okay with them knowing the lines to Drake. But I also need you to know the shit that matters.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, Sean, what's going on?
Day and day. Yeah, your day-to-day stuff. Because there's a lot out there that we need to be paying attention to. Because again, gentrification, yes, it's a real thing. But we also have to talk about, we have to hold ourselves accountable too. Because when we think about white folks moving into black neighborhoods, sometimes it's because we're selling our properties.
Yeah.
Because my same friend who's an educator, she lives in a neighborhood that's been pretty much fully gentrified now. And one of her neighbors was a lady. She's passed away now. She was in her 90s. But she was born in the house. This lady was born in the house and was one of the only homes in that neighborhood that was paid off. But she had been there for decades. But although that house was paid off, it was one of the handful of homes that hadn't been revitalized. So her house was run down and looked a little dilapidated and this, that, and the third. But her property taxes, of course, would have gone up. But because she was a senior, she was in certain programs. So they had a cap on what her property tax would be. But it never stopped white folks from coming in and contractors from coming in, developers from coming in to try to get her to sell this house. But she wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
Because we don't always understand how property works.
Right.
And how what's it called when you have in your house? It's,
equity.
Equity. We don't always understand equity in the house and how it works. And so there were people in the neighborhood who did sell.
Yeah.
Because these white folks came and said, okay, well, I'll give you $50,000 for your house. And then they come in and put the house on the market
for like 500,000. Right.
Correct.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But some of us will take that $50K and go get a Section 8 apartment because we ain't never seen $50,000 before.
Right. And what's funny with that, I was just watching Real Housewives of New York. They have a new cast and stuff like that. They recast it, which it's a good show. But I was looking at some of the stuff because especially the Brooklyn Brownstones, Brooklyn never had that many white people. You had your poor, Italians or whatever, but it wasn't that much. And so to see them and see spaces that I have walked down the street on, to see those houses now, but people said that was the ghetto, or people said that was the hood. Now they've been full of people who are like having $250,000 or to over millions of dollars of houses.
Some brownstones be like $1 million now.
At a minimum. I saw an apartment for $6,500 a month. I said, who? And it's the size of my office. Why? What are you talking about?
And let's not even just say Brooklyn. Let's call it what it is. Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy. Absolutely.
You see white women walking around in yoga pants.
Yep.
Pushing strollers. White men walking dogs.
A mess. Hey, Simeon.
But it's just like with D.C. I'm from Maryland. D.C. once upon a time was called Chocolate City. It's more like Cafe Olay now.
Yeah. Brownstone is at least 1 million. Yep.
Yeah, they didn't came in and just took over.
Oh crap! I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. I don't know what's going on this morning, but we got more breaking news. First of all, shout out to Samuel because he has been really on it and uploading. He's in the background uploading pictures and stuff. So apparently we have the House Republicans have nominated Representative Steve Scalise as Speaker in a closed-door meeting, paving the way for the floor vote for after Kevin McCarthy's abrupt oust. So we do now have a new House Speaker, or soon-to-be House Speaker. They've nominated him as the House Speaker for the Republican majority. Oh my God, what is going on today? I'm glad it's not Jim Jordan. I'm gonna say that. I don't trust Scalise, but I don't trust none of the Republicans. But at least it's not Jim Jordan because he was in Trump's behind.
But speaking of Trump, we really, and this is one of the things that I try to push on my live streams too. And I started talking about this maybe 2 weeks ago. We really gotta be paying attention right now.
Yeah.
And it's those of you that are watching, If you have children that are going to be 18 by the time this next election roll around, make sure that they're registered to vote.
Please do.
Anybody living in your house, I don't give a damn, man, woman, or child. If they are eligible to vote, you need to make sure that they are registered to vote. And you don't, even if you have a criminal record, they've switched that now where you can still vote. Like anybody connected to you, they need to be registered to vote. Because if this Trump get back in this office, or if DeSantis get back in this office, all I can tell you is you may not like everything that Joe Biden is doing, but you got to look at the lesser of the two evils.
You do, absolutely.
You got to look at the lesser of the two evils. Don't be out here splitting these votes, choosing somebody that you know ain't gonna vote. I mean, that ain't gonna damn win.
Right.
Choose the lesser.
Not right now. We don't have time to play around, y'all. And the only reason that Trump is going so hard right now, well, one of the main reasons is because number one, he wants power, but also he's trying to evade jail. And if he becomes president, he's going to pardon himself.
Right.
So, but yes.
But the thing too is, we have to pay attention because there were a lot of black folks who voted for Trump too now. You got to pay attention because, see, a lot of the residual effect of him being in office is because there were people who voted for him.
Right.
Because people got caught up with that bullshit with Hillary Clinton and those emails.
Yes.
I'm not saying Hillary had a clean record and you loved everything about it, but she definitely would have been a better choice. When I think about what happened as a result of COVID, if she was in the office, we may not have had COVID break out the way that it did.
Absolutely.
Because Trump removed certain monies and programs that were in place to catch things like that Obama had put into place. He removed funding for that. And then when you think about Roe versus Wade being repealed, that would have never happened.
That wouldn't have happened. No. Because
now
she was a champion for that.
Young girls who can't even go and get an abortion in their state legally. Like, you got to think about those kinds of things.
Thanks for coming through, Dr. Ho. We know you got to take care of the children. We appreciate you. Continue to help out the young minds over there. And yes, we'll try to get Craig back in, especially after he settles in Paris, France. I would love to talk to you internationally. Yes. Yeah. But yes, we're going to go ahead and finish up the show real quick. I do have two shows. We don't always do what's on the screen, but there's two shows that I just started watching. And y'all know I don't go ham for shows because I'm already inundated with all these damn reality shows and the documentaries that I watch. But there's two shows that I started watching, and my God, on today. The first one is The Irrational. Alec Mercer is a world-renowned behavioral scientist who lends his expertise to an array of high-stakes cases involving governments, law enforcement, and corporations with his unique and unexpected approach to understanding human behavior. This is a dope show. It gives me how to get away with murder vibes. Definitely check it out. And the second one is also on the same network as NBC original, Found. My God, on today. When I saw this show, and it's the first episode only aired, I think last week. It's only one episode right now. This show, I don't even want to ruin it for you guys. Watch this show. Found is a very good show, and I haven't even seen. I don't even know who this queen is. But I haven't seen her in like another. Like I've seen in The Irrational. I've seen him in Rent. I've seen him in The Flash on CW's The Flash. I've seen him in a lot of different things, but I have never seen her, and she is a phenomenal actress. She gives me Olivia Pope vibes. Okay, she is. This is really a really good show. And there's a twist at the end of the first episode that was just like, oh, y'all got me hooked. I was hooked from probably the first 20 seconds of the show. It was it's a very good show.
And it's on NBC?
It's on NBC. I think you can go watch it on was it on Paramount that I saw it? Is it
that's all owned by NBC.
Yeah, they're all owned by so it's on Paramount that I saw this. Yeah. Definitely check it out. It's really good. I wish I could talk to you all day, Craig. Because you are
We'll do it again.
Yes, we'll definitely do it again. I got to get you on Kwame Speaks and break down all of the information on your book and all your business ventures and everything. But let the people know how they can find you. If they don't know how to find you, I don't know how you don't know how to find Craig. But if they don't know how to find you, let them know how to support you.
CraigTheWriterStewart.com is my website. So Craig the Writer Stewart is right down here, and just put .com on it. From there, you can find out about my books. If you were an Elin Harris fan, My first 2 books have been compared to his early works. The first 2 books are my memoirs. The second book actually picks up with when I lived in LA. But then you can reach all my social media from there as well. My Facebook, my Instagram, and my Twitter. But my Instagram is Craig the Writer Stewart. My Facebook is Craig Stewart. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Simeon says, Craig, you have to do restaurant reviews.
Yes, I definitely will. I definitely will.
Yes. And yeah, definitely check out those shows that I told you guys about. And definitely make sure you follow Craig if you haven't done so already. He is a phenomenal thought leader, and I just love his perspectives on different things. I recently, one of the, I forget, I'm so sorry, I forget your co-host's name.
Keon,
yes, you were on. I mentioned it earlier about you talking about Beyonce and how you pray for her, and
I do now.
And you talked about how you pray for Oprah, but not as much because But
it's only because I don't see her as much.
Right?
Out there like Beyonce is like, because that's a huge crown to
Yes,
wear.
absolutely.
Not just in your own personal circle with your friends and your family and the expectations that come from that. But then when you talk about you're the biggest star in the world and you're a Black woman.
Yes.
And when you see all of these crises happening in the world, whether it's what happened over in Hawaii with those fires or whatever's going on in the world, everybody looks to you like you're the savior.
Yes.
So when I went to see her in concert recently in Houston, I flew down to Houston to see it. I just saw her differently. I saw her as a mother, the way she was looking at Blue on stage. It just, I could see the gratitude in her face.
Yeah.
And the way that she was speaking. And I just think, like, I just pray for her mental peace, her peace of mind and all that. And I just ask God to continue to give her direction.
Yeah.
And keep her humble, but to also not allow her to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of times we attack our people.
Yeah.
We over criticize, because we expect people to do things the way that we want them to do.
Right.
But we have to remember that that's her dream.
Yeah.
And she gets to take that dream where she sees fit.
Right.
And a lot of times
and where God sees fit for her.
And where God sees fit. And it's like a lot of times when we look up to people and we see people, we expect them to carry that dream in the direction that we want them to carry it in. Because oftentimes we're living vicariously through them. But no, you get to dream your dream the way you dream it and carry it the way that you want to carry it.
Right.
And so
right.
does she.
Right. And I think we need to offer that to all our influencers, all of our our celebrities, because I think there's so much, that TMZ does and the Shade Room and all these other different outlets that does to try to break them down, and we don't do enough to kind of keep them in prayer. I'm sure that they have prayer warriors because they want to be where they are if they if they want, but at the same time we should also give some grace as well. So
yeah, exactly.
And with that being said, we're gonna pray that you have safe travels, Craig, and also shout out to your mom and happy early birthday to her as well.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being a thought leader and just a dope human being, man. I really appreciate all you do. So we love you. We love you. We will see you guys on Friday. Kire will be back. He is in school today. Shout out to Kire for going back and getting his educations. Right. And we love you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Remember to hit that like button, share, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.